Before we dive in, let's take a quick step back. In Greenland, the 2020 film, we watched Jon Gity and his family fight through absolute chaos as a comet fragment hurtled toward Earth. Roads packed with panicked survivors, cities falling apart, and a desperate race against time. Against all odds, Jon managed to get his wife Allison and their son Nathan to safety, reaching the bunkers in Greenland just as the world as they knew. It came to an end. If you haven't seen my full recap of Greenland yet, make sure you check it out on my channel first. The link is right up there. And if you already watched it and you're back for part 2, welcome back. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications on Sarena Recap so you never miss the next movie breakdown. Now, 5 years later, the story continues. The Clark Comet didn't just strike Earth, it shattered it. Over 75% of the planet was wiped out in an instant. And 5 years later, the world still hasn't healed. Debris from the impact continues to rain down from orbit. Radiation has scorched entire regions, and sudden electromagnetic storms sweep across the surface, destroying everything in their path. Humanity has been driven underground. Jon Gity works as an engineer and a scout. Out on a mission, he discovers a new crack in the earth with lava pouring out. Making his way to the coast, he finds lifeboats and a wrecked cruise ship sitting on the shore. He investigates, but everything is empty. He heads inside the ship looking for anything useful. The base radios him with a warning: a storm is forming, though it'll take some time to reach him. He's coughing badly and pulls off his mask. Deep inside the ship, he finds a flower pressed inside a book. Then the base calls again. The storm is now directly above him. He has to move immediately. He bolts from the ship with the storm right on his heels, sprinting toward the base and shouting for them to open the door. They do. But they can't hold it long, or the radioactive storm will pour inside. He tells them to start closing it. He makes it, diving through the gap just as the door seals shut. Back at the base, Jon's wife Allison has risen to become one of its leaders. In a tense meeting, Adam, another leader, lays out the hard truth. Supplies are critically low. He floats the idea of planting crops outside next year, but Dr. Amina shuts it down immediately. The base is no longer sustainable. They need to relocate, but their options are grim. Canada and the United States are destroyed. Iceland is gone. Allison has heard that Western Europe might be safer, with fewer storms, but someone quickly reminds her that radiation is still present everywhere, and even low levels cause serious harm over time. Then Dr. Amina brings up the crater. The main fragment of the comet struck Western Europe, carving out a massive crater. She and her colleagues calculated that the mountains formed by the impact and the sheer depth of the crater are deflecting radioactive winds away from the area, making it potentially the best place on Earth to build a new life. But the general pushes back. It's extremely far from Greenland, and reports are coming in of brutal fighting across Europe. After the meeting, Jon sits down with the base psychiatrist, who asks him how he's holding up with the new way of life. Jon says he's adjusted. The psychiatrist tells him to stay open with his partner, share everything. Suddenly, the bunker shakes. When it settles, the general reassures everyone the bunker survived the Clark impact itself. It can handle an earthquake. Allison then raises another matter, a distress signal they've received from survivors nearby. Adam says they simply can't take in more people. The base is already over capacity. But Allison refuses to just abandon them and calls for a vote. The majority sides with the rescue. The general agrees to send a team the next morning. Meanwhile, Allison and Jon's son Nathan is in school inside the bunker, and he's become fascinated by astronomy. His teacher explains that fragments of the Samar section of the comet got caught in Earth's gravitational field and formed a ring around the planet. Elsewhere in the base, Jon and a friend managed to fix a broken water pipeline, a small but real victory. That evening, the family meets in the community hall. Jon hands Allison the flower he found on the ship. She's worried about his scouting missions and the radiation exposure, but she acknowledges what he does and thanks him. They catch up with Nathan, and Allison mentions he was caught sneaking outside. His father scolds him. It's not safe out there. Nathan, annoyed, asks for permission to just leave the conversation. Allison laughs it off, saying that he's becoming exactly like his father, always heading out where he shouldn't. They end the night with a dance. Later, Nathan slips outside to look at the stars, holding up a sheet he's punched full of holes in the shapes of constellations. The next morning, the rescue mission launches. The leadership and military supervise from the base. It's a success. The survivors are recovered and heading back. Jon heads to work and finds his friend visibly unsettled, staring at a crack forming in the wall. Back in the command room, the rescue team asks for permission to push to a second location where more people are trapped. Adam refuses. They can't absorb more survivors. Allison wants to discuss it further, but the connection to the team suddenly cuts out. Then the base starts shaking. The power dies. Cracks split through the walls. Everyone fights to hold on as the structure begins to collapse. When the earthquake finally stops, Jon pulls himself up with his friend's help. He runs straight to Allison. She's shaken but okay. They race to find Nathan. He's fine, already masked up and ready to move. They tell him to grab only the essentials and to make sure he takes his insulin because he's diabetic. Jon grabs extra masks. They try to leave through the main exit, but it's completely jammed with panicking people. Jon leads them to a secondary exit. It's collapsed, but they squeeze through the rubble just enough to get past. He shoves open a door, but the ground shakes again. They run through before it can come down on them. Outside, people are pouring toward the sea. They lose Nathan for a moment, then spot him helping Dr. Amina. Together, they head for the shore. The waterfront is chaotic. People fighting to cram into lifeboats. They see a group trying to steal Adam's mask and move in to help him. In the chaos, someone steals Jon's mask instead. They break free from the mob and spot an open lifeboat. They rush inside. The door gets sealed even as more people beg to get in. There's simply no room. The pilot fires up the engine and pulls away from the shore. Then they see it, a massive wave on the horizon. They brace. The tsunami tears through the people still on the shore, but the lifeboat rides it out. They survive. Now they have to decide where to go. With only a week of supplies, they set course for England. Jon checks the radiation readings. They're low enough to remove their masks. Days pass. The boat starts to break down, but Jon's engineering knowledge keeps it running. At night, Nathan stands out on deck and stares up at the sky, pointing out to his father the stars and the comet debris still visible in Earth's orbit. Then a meteor streaks across the sky. They watch it fall, wondering where it's headed. The next morning, the engine quits for good. They're out of fuel and drifting with the current. Days crawl by and tensions rise. Then the boat bumps into something solid. They come out to find themselves surrounded by rooftops. Jon recognizes it, Liverpool. Half the city is underwater. They paddle toward higher ground, climb out, and start moving. They spot a group of people walking with purpose and follow them to a rescue bunker. Soldiers are at the gate, holding back a crowd. Jon's group approaches and identifies themselves as survivors from the Greenland bunker. The soldiers ask for ID badges. Only Allison has hers. The others lost theirs in the collapse. The soldiers won't budge. The crowd behind them surges. In the chaos, the soldiers open fire. Adam is shot, and the door slams shut. The group is scattered. A radioactive storm is closing in fast. Jon tells Dr. Amina they need to go, but she's gone. Just the four of them now. They flag down a passing car and ask for a ride. The driver takes Jon's watch as payment. They escape the storm. As they drive, Dr. Amina asks whether the whole world is like this. The driver tells her plainly, the world is a dangerous place now. People will kill for survival. The storms come without warning and wipe out everything in their path. They decide to push on to London, where Allison's friend Mackenzie lives. They spoke 8 or 10 months ago, and she seemed to have enough to get by. Nathan asks Dr. Amina whether she really believes the crater exists. She does. She compares it to the KT extinction. The asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs also gave rise to everything that came after. Without destruction, there is no new beginning. The driver pulls over to rest. London is only about half an hour away. Jon steps out to talk with the driver, who tells him the crater sounds like a nice story, but that's all it is, a fairy tale. Nathan comes over to join his father. Then the ground starts to tremble. Jon shouts for everyone to grab onto something. He pulls Nathan close and holds onto a tree as a meteor shower tears through the sky above them. They hold on tight. When it lets up for a moment, Jon spots the driver sprinting toward his car. He yells at him to stop. There are still meteors falling. The driver won't listen. The car is everything he has. A piece of debris crushes him before he can reach it. When the shower finally ends, they pull their things from the car and walk the rest of the way to London. They arrive at Mackenzie's house. She opens the door with a gun in her hand, then sees who it is and breaks into a huge smile. She pulls them inside. The house is filled with Alzheimer's patients. She tells them they have no idea about what happened outside, and she does everything she can to keep them happy. It's become her life's purpose. They spend a warm evening together. Jon asks her about the crater. She's only heard rumors. Gunfire crackles somewhere in the distance. Mackenzie says London is as safe as she could make it. That night, while everyone is asleep, Allison hears Jon coughing badly. She goes to check on him and stops cold when she sees blood. He tells her the truth. Years of scouting in radioactive air have done irreversible damage. He has 6 weeks left. He kept it from them because he didn't want them to worry. Allison tells him this is a hospital. They can treat him here, but Jon doesn't want to die in a house. He wants to reach the crater. He wants to spend whatever time he has left getting his family to somewhere safe. He wants to give Nathan a better future. The next morning, they prepare to leave. Mackenzie gives them a car and whatever supplies she can spare, along with a gun for protection. She tells them to head for Dover. From there, they'll need a boat to cross the English Channel. It's a long drive, so they fill the time with car games. Then a gunshot rings out. Amina jerks forward. Someone is shooting at them, trying to take the car. They pull over, and Jon grabs the gun, returning fire. One attacker tries to come around the back, and Jon drops him. He's out of ammo when another rushes in. Allison grabs the dead man's gun and fires. When it's over, they check on Nathan. He's okay. Amina is not. They bury her by the roadside. Jon says a few words to give her a proper goodbye. Nathan asks why people pray for the dead. Jon says it's for good luck in whatever comes next. A few more hours of driving brings them to the English Channel, and they stop. Stunned, the sea is gone. The ocean floor lies exposed all the way from Britain to France. Dry land. They don't need a boat after all and simply drive across. But after pressing into France, they come to a halt. Every car on the road has stopped in front of a massive canyon cutting across the earth. They get out to look. Survivors have rigged a series of bridges across the gap. At the crossing point, Nathan freezes. He can't make himself step onto the narrow bridge. Jon tells him to be brave. They start across. The wind tears at them from every direction. A strong gust nearly throws them off, but they hold on. They make it to the middle platform, but there are more sections to cross. Then the ground shakes. They have to go now. They crawl across a ladder bridge. Hanging over the canyon, another earthquake hits. They lock their grip and don't let go. The rope bridge next to them snaps and people fall. Their ladder bridge sways violently. A man on a blocked path sees their bridge and jumps for it. He crashes into Nathan, who loses his grip and dangles over the drop. Jon lunges and pulls his son back up. The platform is giving way. They scramble forward and reach the far side just as the whole structure collapses into the canyon below. They walk on into France, or what used to be France. Everything is destroyed. There are no landmarks left. Without warning, a man steps out with a gun aimed at them. Jon speaks calmly. They mean no harm. They're just trying to reach the crater. The man lowers his weapon and shakes Jon's hand. He tells them to follow him. He leads them to an abandoned mill in Calais that he's converted into a home, running on solar power with basic air filtration to cut down the radiation. He introduces them to his wife, paralyzed and unable to speak, a consequence of the radioactive air, and his daughter, Camilla. They share a meal. The man asks why they're going to the crater. Jon tells him it's humanity's last hope, a promised land. The man's expression shifts. He explains that the Western Alliance, backed by the remnants of the French military, is fighting to defend the crater from the Eastern Alliance, which wants to seize its resources. The entire region is a war zone. Getting through is nearly impossible. That night, Camilla shows Nathan to his room, and he shows her his blanket mapped out with constellations. Allison asks Jon what his father whispered to him privately the day they left for the bunker. He tells her his father made him promise to protect her and Nathan, no matter what. In the morning, the Frenchman gives them a map and lays out a route that skirts the worst of the fighting. It will be hard, he tells them, but when they reach the Western Alliance base, they should ask for Commander Jennett and show him a photograph. He and Jennett were friends. Jennett will get them into the crater. Then the man asks Jon to do one more thing. Take Camilla with them. She shouldn't spend her life trapped in a mill. She deserves a future. Allison, who has been listening from the doorway, steps in and tells him they'll keep her safe. Camilla says her goodbyes to her parents, a heartfelt, painful farewell, and they leave together. Traveling toward the crater, they stop to rest and play some games together when Western Alliance soldiers suddenly appear and order them to halt. The area is restricted to civilians. While the others stand confused, Camilla switches to French and tells the soldiers they're looking for Commander Jennett, her father's friend, and that they're trying to reach the crater. The soldiers tell them it's impossible. Jon appeals to them directly and asks for help. That night, a soldier guides them through the war zone under cover of darkness. The Western and Eastern alliances are locked in fierce combat. The soldier keeps them low and moving. They make it through a network of trenches and bunkers dug by the Western Alliance, stepping over countless bodies until the soldiers load them onto a truck and deliver them to a base camp where Commander Jennett is stationed. Camilla points to mountains in the distance, their new formations pushed up by the impact. The crater is just on the other side. A large number of civilians are already waiting to enter. Jon approaches the officer in charge and asks for Commander Jennett. Holding out the photograph, the soldier leads him to a body bag. Jennett is dead. Jon asks if there's another way in. The officer tells them to leave. There's nothing he can do. Jon doesn't move. He tells the soldier quietly that he is a dying man, and all he wants is to get his family somewhere safe. The soldier turns to a subordinate and tells him to find them a seat on the bus. They board the bus. They're finally moving toward the crater. Then bandits attack. They kill the escorts and shoot the driver when he tries to break free, then order everyone off the bus. It belongs to them now. The passengers are forced out onto the road. Jon tells the others to keep going. Once the bus is clear, he turns and goes back. His friend tries to help, but the bandits overwhelm him. 2 gunshots ring out from inside the bus. Jon emerges, wounded but alive. They treat him as best they can. Everyone boards again, and Allison takes the wheel. The bus strains up the incline but can't make the final climb. They abandon it and go the rest of the way on foot. The group helps Jon up the mountain. At the summit, they stop. Below them, stretching wide and impossibly alive, is the Clark Crater, fertile farmland, fresh water, clear skies, clean and free of radiation, exactly as they'd heard. Jon looks at it for a long moment. He asks everyone to rest. He says he's glad he got to see them make it. Then he collapses. He tells them he's happy they're here, happy they're safe. Happy he kept his promise, and then he's gone. Nathan recites the same words Jon had spoken over the others they'd lost along the way, a farewell and a blessing. It falls to them now to build something new, something better, guided by kindness, compassion, and understanding. So, you were watching the recap of the movie Greenland 2: Migration. If you like this, please subscribe and check out our other videos as well.